Pharisees, 25 Bible verses about Pharisees. Pharisees, 25 Bible verses about Pharisees. Matthew 23:23. Woe to you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites, for you tithe mint and dill and cumin, and have neglected the weightier matters of the law, justice and mercy and faithfulness. These you ought to have done, without neglecting the others. Matthew 15:7-9. You hypocrites, well did Isaiah prophesy of you, when he said, This people honors me with their lips, but their heart is far from me. In vain do they worship me, teaching as doctrines the commandments of men. Luke 11:39-40. Now you Pharisees cleanse the outside of the cup and of the dish, but inside you are full of greed and wickedness. You fools! Did not he who made the outside make the inside also? Mark 12:38-40. In his teaching he said, Beware of the scribes, who like to walk around in long robes and love greetings in the marketplaces and the best seats in the synagogues and the places of honor at feasts, who devour widows' houses and for a pretense make long prayers. They will receive the greater condemnation. Luke 18:11. The Pharisee, standing by himself, prayed thus, God, I thank you that I am not like other men, extortioners, unjust, adulterers, or even like this tax collector. Mark 7:7. And in vain they worship me, teaching as doctrines the commandments of men. Matthew 16:6. Then Jesus said to them, Take heed and beware of the leaven of the Pharisees and the Sadducees. John 8:7. And as they continued to ask him, he stood up and said to them, Let him who is without sin among you be the first to throw a stone at her. Matthew 22:15-16. Then the Pharisees went and plotted how to entangle him in his words. And they sent their disciples to him, along with the Herodians. Luke 11:54. He said also to the people, When you see a cloud rising in the west, you say at once, A shower is coming. And so it happens. Matthew 23:2-4, saying, The scribes and the Pharisees sit on Moses' seat, so practice and observe whatever they tell you, but not what they do. For they preach, but do not practice. Luke 11:46. And he said, Woe to you lawyers also, for you load people with burdens hard to bear, and you yourselves do not touch the burdens with one of your fingers. Luke 5:21. The scribes and the Pharisees began to question, saying, Who is this who speaks blasphemies? Who can forgive sins but God alone? Mark 3:6. The Pharisees went out and immediately held counsel with the Herodians against him, how to destroy him. John 7:48. Have any of the rulers or the Pharisees believed in him? Matthew 9:11. And when the Pharisees saw this, they said to his disciples, Why does your teacher eat with tax collectors and sinners? Luke 7:29-30. And all the people who heard him, and the tax collectors, justified God, having been baptized with the baptism of John. But the Pharisees and the lawyers rejected the purpose of God for themselves, not having been baptized by him. Luke 16:14-15. The Pharisees, who were lovers of money, heard all these things, and they derided him. And he said to them, You are those who justify yourselves before men, but God knows your hearts, for what is exalted among men is an abomination in the sight of God. Mark 12:18. Then Sadducees came to him, who say that there is no resurrection. And they asked him a question, saying, Teacher, Moses wrote for us that if a man's brother dies and leaves a wife, but leaves no child, the man must take the widow and raise up offspring for his brother. Luke 16:14. The Pharisees, who were lovers of money, heard all these things, and they derided him. Matthew 12:14. But the Pharisees went out and conspired against him, how to destroy him. Luke 16:13. No servant can serve two masters, for either he will hate the one and love the other, or he will be devoted to the one and despise the other. You cannot serve God and money. John 8:3-5. The scribes and the Pharisees brought a woman who had been caught in adultery, and placing her in the midst they said to him, Teacher, this woman has been caught in the act of adultery. Now in the law Moses commanded us to stone such women. So what do you say? This they said to test him, that they might have some charge to bring against him. Matthew 23:13-15. But woe to you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites, for you shut the kingdom of heaven in people's faces. For you neither enter yourselves nor allow those who would enter to go in. Woe to you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites, for you travel across sea and land to make a single proselyte, and when he becomes a proselyte, you make him twice as much a child of hell as yourselves. Matthew 23:25-26. Woe to you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites, for you clean the outside of the cup and the plate, but inside they are full of greed and self-indulgence. You blind Pharisee! First clean the inside of the cup and the plate, that the outside also may be clean. Who were the Pharisees in the Bible? Father, grandfather, minister, missionary, deacon, elder, author. Welcome to our family. View all posts.